Alright y'all, so we are starting some 16 bean soup. We're getting it ready. I'm going to put it in some jars, can it up so that we have a quick ready to go meal. Look how pretty they all look. Now I'm not a huge fan of those lentils, but we're going to try it and see. But rinsing our beans, and yes, I'm using an ice cream spade to spread them around, but rinsing our beans, getting everything set up and ready to go. Hey y'all, welcome back to Krista's Kitchen. So Eleanor's been asking for lasagna for a few days now, and I just haven't gotten around to making it. When looking in the pantry to finally make it tonight, I noticed that we only have 2 partial boxes of lasagna noodles, and it's just not quite enough for a full lasagna recipe, at least not for my lasagna recipe. So we're going to try our hand at making lasagna soup and see if that satisfies her craving and kind of fills that need or want for her. So I'm going to zoom y'all in and we're going to go ahead and get started. So we've got a little over 1.5 pounds of ground beef just sauteing in the bottom of the pan. I usually use Italian sausage and ground beef, but I'm just trying to make it simple and get it done. So we're sticking with just ground beef for today. Our ground beef is just about all the way cooked, so we're going to start adding in our seasoning. So I am going to go ahead and drop in 2 beef bouillon cubes. Since I'm adding more broth or water to this, or I'm planning to add more to it than I would for a typical lasagna, and I'm going to want more depth of flavor in with that sauce or that broth. As far as the seasonings go, I'm going to start with the same basic seasonings we use for our lasagna. So 1 teaspoon of salt, about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and about 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I'm going to start very simply right at first. I'm going to add in a 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes and 2 jars of pasta sauce. I'm using 1 marinara and 1 tomato basil. I just took my jar of pasta sauce and filled it with water. I'm going to shake it to get the rest of that pasta sauce out of it. And this is what we're going to start with as far as additional liquid. And give it a stir, crushing some of these tomatoes as we stir it around. We're just letting this come back up to a simmer and that meat to just finish cooking all the way through. We're going to taste test it and see where we go from there. Okay, so we just gave it a little taste test and I feel like we still need a little bit of depth of flavor, so I'm going to add in 2 more beef bouillon cubes and just a touch more Italian seasoning, maybe 1/2 teaspoon. It does need some salt, but I'm going to wait on the salt until after it's all done because the cheese will add some salt to this also, some saltiness to it. So now we're going to add in what we have left of lasagna noodles. I'd say this is probably about 10 to 12 ounces, not a full pound between the 2 of them. I'm just going to take a few at a time. And just like with our white chicken lasagna, we're going to break them into about thirds and drop them in. And these are not the oven ready ones. These are the like need to fully cook noodles. Break that one real quick and dropped it. And we're just going to let these soak up that juice and cook right in there with it. So while our noodles soften and just simmer away, we're going to make our little cheese topping dollops that we're going to put on it. So I use ricotta cheese in my lasagna because I don't like the texture of cottage cheese. However, if you like the cottage cheese, use cottage cheese here. But I've got maybe 3/4 of a container of cottage cheese left, and this is a large one. I'm going to just add my cheeses straight into here so that we can just mix it up and I don't have to mess up a bowl. So I'm going to add in some grated parmesan, and then a couple handfuls of mozzarella also. We're just going to mix this all around and make like our own little cheese mixture. Now I'm not putting in the eggs and stuff that you normally would because, and I know some people eat raw eggs, we don't, but we don't need that binding agent since we're not using it as a binder. We just want it for that creamy balance to the tomato. I'm going to add in a little bit more mozzarella and that last little bit of parmesan we have on the plate. Maybe a sprinkling of pepper. And there we have it. Now all we're waiting for is our noodles to get fully cooked and we'll be ready to eat dinner. So as you can see, those noodles soaked up all of that juice and we have a wonderful consistency. Now if you'd like this a little bit thinner, just make more sauce. If you want it not quite so thin, you want it more held together like a lasagna, then add more noodles. But we're going to taste test and see how it turned out. Alright, we're going to get a big old scoop of everything. This light colored shirt probably was not the best idea for today. And there we have it. And you can see we used 2 different boxes of noodles, but that'll be okay. Take our big dollop of cheeses and put that right down in the middle. Let's get a little bit of everything. These noodles don't want to cooperate with me today. I know we didn't add any extra garlic to this, but the pasta sauce that we use, I know it has that nice yummy garlic in it, so I chose not to, but definitely amp up that garlic flavor because I can really get the garlic in this, and garlic is always better. I hope this satisfies Eleanor's craving because this is delicious. I'm going to sit down and eat dinner and we will see y'all next time.